When it comes to innovation and innovative ideas, critical thinking is just as important as creative thinking is. Unfortunately, I see so many design thinkers, UX designers and facilitators focus much more on the creative part, on the let's create more ideas. And what you'll end up is 100 maybe crazy, very creative, very colorful, maybe even fun ideas, but without a level of rigor underneath that will make sure that these ideas will actually see the light of day. So in this video, let's look at 3 simple and engaging ways to critique your ideas to make sure that they become a lot more robust and to make sure that you're setting them up for success. Hey there, my name is Yuri, this is The Magic Sauce. On this channel we talk about facilitation for innovation for the rebels, rule breakers and the game changers out there. People who want to do stuff a little bit different, particularly when it comes to facilitation for innovation. And if this is your first time here, you might want to consider subscribing. I create lots of videos with really practical, simple tools for people navigating the murky waters of innovation, for people at the front lines, people doing the hard work. Yes, you. Oh, by the way, it's official. I need glasses. I'm having a harder time reading things. I take a screenshot every now and then, I blow it up so I can actually see what it says. Yeah, always had perfect vision till recently. But with these glasses, I can see things a little bit better. So let's look at ways to critique your ideas. Particularly in design thinking and ideations and creative sessions, I see this so many times in such a rookie mistake. It's quite easy to open up a million buckets and to say, what else could it be? And can we come up with more and different ideas? And here's another opportunity, there's another platform, there's another category. Let's come up with so many new and different ideas. But then how do you land them? Because you can't pursue 100 different ideas. No business, however big or small, is going to pursue so many different things. By the way, I know I just said rookie mistake. I've made this mistake. When I first got started, I thought the best way to innovate is just to throw 1,000 ideas against the wall and do a bit of this and hope something sticks. I've even had clients who said, we need more creative ideas. No, you don't. Most likely you have more than enough creative ideas already. What you need is a handful of more robust, more practical solutions that you can go and test over the next couple of weeks. So a couple of things to remember here. Of course, the best way to find out whether an idea works or not is to throw it into the market, throw it where your audience is, whether it's a prototype or a beta test or the actual product. That's where you're going to get the real feedback, because sometimes these ideas look great in our minds until we throw them out there and then it's... The second one is making sure people understand that the idea is not the same as a person. So when they critique, they are critiquing the idea and it's not a personal attack. And particularly as a facilitator, you need to set that tone. You need to be very clear that they know how to make that distinction. And finally, when do you critique an idea? There is way too early and then there's way too late. If you already have a manufactured end product of whatever that idea is, it's probably a bit late to critique it. And the other one is if somebody's just uttered 3 words, says, I have an idea about this, and you already start shooting holes in it, that doesn't really work either. All right, so let's get into a couple of techniques which you can use. As always, these are for you to play around with. You don't have to do them exactly the same. Take some of the principles behind what I'm telling you and make them your own. The first one here is green carpet, red carpet, or green card, red card, or green lens, red lens. Green in this case is where you build, you say what's working, you say what's great, and you make it better. And red is exactly the opposite. You say what's not working, you critique it, and you shoot holes in it. They are both equally important. You cannot do them at the same time. What I used to do is in a room, I would put 2 pieces of paper or 2 little rugs or maybe 2 cards, whatever symbolizes 2 areas of that space. You take a couple of ideas, you pick one off the wall and whoever wants to present that, and you all go to the green side. You say, here's idea number 1. What do we love about the idea? How can we build on the idea? And people build on it. They say what they like about it. They add to it. They make the idea a bit bigger, a bit better, right? You take notes of it and make sure that if it turns into a different idea, you separate them. But this is all about building on the idea. So one thing that we have is there's no physical element, and weddings need a physical element. What could we do about that? Yes. Okay, so sending people something physical before, like a bottle of champagne or like a hamper, like a basket with kind of things. What if we send everybody a little kit before that's all in the theme of that wedding? So it could be the same colors, maybe the same flowers, but also a drink on the side. Maybe there's a game we can play. We can send them like a little box in advance that is like the wedding box of X and Y, whoever's getting married. So now we've got a revised idea idea, which is a little bit different from what we had. Cool, let's go back to the red side and let's find out where this part is weak. So once they built on the idea, you take that same idea, you move everybody physically to the other side of the room, to the red side or the red carpet or the red flag, whatever you want to use. Take that same idea and you say, what's wrong with it? And the words are important here. Very often we ask people, what do you think? But when you ask people, what do you think? You have very little control over what they're going to say, how they're going to answer. What do you think could mean many things. If you want somebody to build on it, to say, how can I make this better? How do we improve this? How can we make this work? If you want people to critique it, what's wrong with this? Where are the weak sides? If you were a competitor, how would you obliterate this idea? Okay, welcome to the red side. The red light is on, which means now it's time to critique. We have this idea of just creating a Zoom wedding, doing the entire wedding on Zoom. Tell me, what's wrong with this idea? Where is it lacking? Where could this go wrong? Shout them out. Yeah? Okay, so we have a whole bunch of weak points now. Let's go back to the green light and let's see how we can build on these and make them stronger. The main thing here is that you have two different worlds, a world of creative thinking, of building, of constructing on something, and the other one is basically finding out where the idea is weak and shooting holes and finding out what's wrong with it, as long as you keep those separate. Now, with all of this critiquing, you don't just leave it there. All the weak bits that you found out in what's wrong with it, you can then go back to the green side and say, how do we build on it? How do we make this stronger? What's weak? Well, it's very expensive to make. Go back to the green side. How can we make it cheaper? So this is more a dance that goes back and forth. And you could do the same thing online. You could send people on your next call into a little breakout room. You give them a minute just to tell you where it's weak or just to build on it and to make it better. Either you're all in building mode or you're all in critiquing mode, but you cannot do them at the same time. That specific activity is great for very early stage. It's a quick activity. It's not a long discussion. It's something you can do on the fly. You can do it throughout your ideation. Let's say you got 50 ideas. You don't need to do this for all 50. You get them to vote first, pick the top 5, and then you do that with, and then you build on it. But let's say that you have an idea that's a little bit more robust than that. Let's say you've come out of this session, you've got 5 ideas, and here's another great activity which you can do. Okay, so for this activity, let me ask you a question. Like think about your surroundings. Think about the people you hang out with, maybe at work, maybe in the client side, maybe in your school. I don't know where you are, but do you know somebody who's always critical of something? You know those people who always complain, who always tell you what doesn't work. They're always like, yeah, the chocolate milk wasn't hot enough on the plane. Those kind of people. You're thinking of one right now, right? I know a couple. Contrary to popular belief, they do serve a purpose. You take your idea, you find your hypercritical, always nagging, always complaining friend, and you say, I've got an idea. What's wrong with this one? Hey there, mate. Yeah, what's up? I've got a question for you. Since you are my smartest friend, I've got a new business idea and I would love your take on it. Sure, shoot. Okay, so here it is, right? The idea is digital weddings. Because of COVID, people can't attend weddings, social distancing. So the idea that we have is a digital wedding service. So the whole wedding is online, but then you have an MC or you have somebody to officiate the ceremony online. You can show slides online, people can register online, and it would just save a lot of money for a lot of people. So I would love your take. Would you invest in an idea like this? Well, first of all, I wouldn't invest in that at all. I've heard it before. I mean, why would anybody invest in that? You know how much stress people already have around weddings? Nobody's gonna have digital weddings. People will always hang on to traditions. How are you even gonna build this? How are you gonna scale this? Who's gonna run this? It's a bit dumb. I don't think it's very original. You know that every wedding photographer company, whatever you want to call them, already has something like this? How are you gonna price it? Have you even thought about that one? Nothing new about this. Think about all the partners that are necessary. You can't pull this off alone. You're gonna need a whole network of people. And you take notes. The key thing is you take notes and you say, thank you so much for that. And you go back to other people who are better at building on these. Because now at least you've probably identified 7, 8, 9 weak areas you can build on, thus making your idea a bit more robust. And the last one is just to go for an early pitch. The pitch does not have to be perfect. Once you have a bit of an idea, you tell people, imagine you had to pitch this idea to get money from people, to get funding from people, to sell the idea through within the business, and you got 27 seconds. How would you pitch it? Get people to prepare these pitches, but then make sure you create an audience as well. I've done this quite a couple of times. Sometimes I didn't tell the clients that I invited 10 of their customers or the board of directors or their big bosses. Get people to pitch and ask the audience, seriously, would you put money behind this? Would you go for this idea if this is your business? That is a great indicator of where people sit, and it's a great way to get some criticism from them, you just write down the questions, you write down the critiques, or you ask them to do it. It doesn't really matter. But getting to a point where you can pitch the idea, you go, look, you have 20, 30 seconds, but you put money behind this. What are your questions? Using those questions as ways to find out where the idea maybe needs a bit of loving, needs a bit of support, needs a bit of rethinking, because sometimes we don't think that way. We get so excited about the idea, we forget about some of the practical sides of it. And that's why critical thinking is so important. That's why I need you to have these conversations more. It's easy to go, you know, let's all have fun and create many different ideas, but those ideas are not going to fly if they don't have a level of proper, deeper thinking behind it. And that's where critical thinking comes in. Nobody's going to chase 100 crazy ideas. What you can do is probably take 2 or 3 and go test them for a couple of weeks, a couple of months to find out which one's got legs. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much for watching. As always, here are a couple of videos for you to watch after this, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.